Welcome to Your Aunties Could Never, your favourite aunties on the internet. I'm Auntie AK, the auntie of all aunties, and I'm here with...
I am Nana, aka the Black Fairy, aka Dark and Lovely.
And I'm all things sugar and shade, Sade. Hey.
Hey. And today we're joined by a very, very special guest, London's mayoral candidate, Natalie Campbell. Welcome.
AKA your next mayor of London.
Yes, we love that. Yes, speak it into existence. Voting's tomorrow, guys.
Yes.
Voting's tomorrow, guys.
Get your ID and vote.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right, so Natalie's going to join us as for our usual show, as we get into Enemies of Progress, Welcome to the Family, and we solve some of your crazy, juicy dilemmas. Mm-hmm. But we want to know about Natalie's campaign and get into her business. Yes, you can, and yes, you will. However, the only way you're going to get to know Natalie really, truly, and deeply is if you sign up for our new YouTube membership, which is only
$1.99.
$1.99.
Just $1.99.
Cheaper than a bag of chips. Is it?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, chips are teeth these days. So yes, please guys, sign up to our new YouTube membership. It's only $1.99. And after you've signed up, make sure you
Put the like button, 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 put the like button.
whoop it, please.
Do it now.
Right now. Have we done it? Okay, cool. Okay, and also subscribe and share the video. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to share it. And this is a very important one. Share it and vote. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, please don't forget to rate us. We only accept how many stars?
Only 5 stars, you know. Only 5. If it's not 5, we don't want it.
No.
Take your subpar rating somewhere else. Only 5. Thank you.
Take it away.
Yes.
So yes, please. And if you are listening on Spotify and Apple, please leave some comments and we will read your comments. Yes. One day.
You gotta take that line out. Seriously.
So a lot's been happening. A lot has been happening as usual. But in all seriousness, we have to send well wishes to ITV news presenter RAGEH OMAAR, who became ill on air whilst reading the news. The update is he's recovering at home with his family, so we send lots of wishes. And then also, really sad breaking news. We got to send lots of love to the family and friends of Daniel Anjorin, the 14-year-old boy who was murdered by a man carrying a sword in Hainhault on Tuesday. So it's horrific. The event was it was a horrible thing that happened. Just sending lots of love and condolences to people. Again, everyone affected by that incident. Influencer NISSY TEE has asked the internet if she's doing too much because she got upset because someone mistakenly called her husband her boyfriend. Now, and Afrobeats has entered the beef chat. Wizkid and Davido throw social media shots at each other. Yes. Film producer Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction has been overturned, though he will remain in jail for the other charges.
Thank God.
Doja Cat has called out adults who bring their kids to her concerts, tweeting, "I rap about, come, why are you bringing your offspring to my show?" I can't argue with that.
Fair.
Very fair. And Donald Trump is being held in contempt of court for breaking his gag order during the trial that he's enduring right now. We all know he's a rebel. And finally, a Louisiana man has been sentenced to 50 years in prison and physical castration for raping a teenager.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot that's happening in the world. But first of all, let's get into who's our enemy of progress. Nana, take it away.
Okay, so the first enemy of progress I'm bringing to the group today is Charlston White. Charlston White is a comedian, kind of social commentator, a general asshole to the world.
Oh, okay.
I will put him firmly in the bin. And what he said, at the moment, everybody's talking about the American football draft that's taken place. And there was a notable, let's say, sightings that most of the players had white girlfriends. And Charleston decided to be like, I know why that all the players have white girlfriends.
Was he called upon or did he just offer it?
He offered it.
Oh, okay.
Of his own volition.
Unprovoked.
Yeah. Nobody asked him, but Charleston decided to answer. He said, this is taking place because the thing with black women is black women are just all about the dick and they're not about their business. And white women are all about their business and they will set up charities and they will be supportive. So that's why the young bucks all have white girlfriends.
Because the young bucks are thinking about charities at their age. Is that what they're doing?
Apparently so.
He's trying to, So he's an enemy. I can't. I mean, what else is there to say? Another black man on the internet who shouldn't be on the internet talking nonsense and giving that authority to speak about things that are wildly untrue and exaggerated. And there were some comments that kind of pointed out there were a couple of athletes who have suffered at the hands of their white wives. There's a few like Tiger Woods, you know, his missus really went for him.
Well,
I mean, like he was doing, he was doing madness.
I mean, yeah, but I'm
not saying what she done was right,
but where he said that black women are concerned about their partner's dicks rather than focusing on business, this woman was very upset. Tiger Woods' wife was very upset that he was philandering, so she was worried about where his dick was going, so she switched. Which, yeah, but it's not exclusive. Being upset that your partner constantly cheats is not exclusive behavior of black women.
Yes.
That's the point.
I think that he's just, I mean, he's a comedian, so I'm guessing he's just trying to get attention and trying to make people laugh, right? But it's not funny. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why, you know, black women have to be the butt of jokes repeatedly over and over again. And he's just missing the point. He's not looking at I mean, I'm not an expert in this area, but from what I understand is that, you know, the schools that these kids go to are predominantly white schools, right? Do you know what I mean? And it's like they're socialized in a different way. They don't necessarily get the same opportunities if they go to like a black school and that sort of thing. They won't get scouted in the same way, apparently.
I think I've heard that too.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's just like it's kind of wrong that they're doing that in the first place. Do you know what I mean? It's a way of segregating. It's a way of what do you call it? Like discriminating as well, kind of thing. So I think it's just, yeah, he could just do better or just shut up. Do you know what I mean?
I'm with you on the just shut up. No one invited the opinion, added nothing to the conversation. So just shut up.
I think this is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very easy. Yeah. Simple one. So my enemy of progress, or not, this is a one to debate. Richard Gadd, the creator of Baby Reindeer and Netflix. So basically, the woman who is the subject of Baby Reindeer has been found, as we knew that would happen.
Yeah.
And she did an interview with Daily Mail. And she basically has said that Richard Gadd is, she's the victim in all of this because he's using Baby Reindeer to stalk me now. I'm the victim. He's written a bloody show about me. So if you guys haven't watched it and you don't know, Baby Reindeer is about a wannabe comedian who's struck down on his luck, who encounters a lonely woman at the bar that he works at. After offering her a cup of tea, it all goes left and she turns into his stalker, intense stalker, and over the course of multiple years, she sends him more than 41,000 emails, 744 tweets, hundreds of pages of letters, and 350 hours of voicemails. The Netflix series has gone nuts. It's been number one, top of the charts. And he did issue from the jump, don't go looking for this woman. This is not the nature of the show. That's not what the show is about. However, with him saying that and it going on Netflix, and Netflix has a history of like turning true crime stories into hit series, can Richard get away with this, though he's telling his story and what happened to him? Is he a bit of an enemy for us, like thinking that he could just do this and no one would go and hunt this woman down, because he has made it clear that he wants to protect her identity. He went to great lengths to protect her identity. However, internet sleuths.
I think that's the whole point of why he is an enemy, because he didn't go to great enough lengths. People found her, and all you had to do, for one, was go through his tweets.
Okay.
And her tweets are still there. And he showed that she was tweeting. So it's enemy-ish. People are stupid, though, because she is a stalker. Like, do you want her stalking you? Like, actually, I don't know. I think he's a halfway enemy.
What do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't think he's an enemy, you know? Like, okay, I think about this in two ways. I think that, okay, she does have we're assuming she's got mental health issues. Yeah. He's alluded to this fact as well, kind of thing. And that was alluded to in the show. And I think he said some things afterwards as well. And I think he doesn't necessarily have a duty of care. He doesn't necessarily have that, but he's performing that role of having a duty of care of this person. But at the end of the day, he is a victim. Do you know what I mean? And this person committed a crime against his person. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, what she didn't get charged for this. Like, the reality is she didn't get charged with it, and she kind of got away with it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, that's wrong at the end of the day. So I'm conflicted. And then on the other hand, I'm not saying this is Richard, but yeah, of course I would say, oh, don't look for her. But
look for her.
I can't control you. At the end of the day. And it's just like, what I'm more concerned with actually is Netflix. Do you know what I mean? Because they have final say. Do you know what I mean? If they're doing a production of this sort, I mean, we don't know the details of his contract, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're a powerful organization. They have final say about what goes in, what doesn't, the artistic choices, all of those kind of things. So if they wanted to make it a more of a distance from the character in the show and her real life person, they could have done that. They chose not to. And they've got a repeated history, unfortunately, of cashing in on traumatic stories and true life stories. They do this all the time. There's a real thing called trauma porn. People are addicted to these type of things. And this is why these shows do well. Yeah. And so, I don't know. I don't know if it's Richard. I think it's more
Netflix.
Yeah.
Have you seen Baby Reindeer?
I haven't. So I'm going to add a slightly different perspective. I'm with you on the rise of trauma porn. And if we turn the tables, there is no woman out there that would get a Netflix deal about the story of her stalker, partly because that woman would be fearing for her life and she would be in danger. She would be in physical danger. And what I've noticed about Netflix documentaries are, we seem to allow stories of men, whether this is men who have dated women and convinced them they were millionaires or whatever it is, these stories to proliferate and have made these men famous. And we're doing something similar with a reverse stalker story, and this guy is ultimately going to make a lot of money off this. And I'm just not comfortable with that. But to the question that you're asking, if I wanted to be anonymous and I was the woman on the other side of this, I wouldn't have done an interview with the Daily Mail. But based on the fact that he's getting paid, I'd be like, well, I might as well get paid too. So there's also that. But I don't like the trauma porn element of this, because women are stalked all of the time. And unfortunately, they don't always make it out alive.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And also about, there is a thing where I'm sure, I don't know who this woman is, but based on how she's portrayed in the show, this moment of shining is she's possibly
she would be loving it,
reveling in it, and then planning her next move, allegedly, possibly, who knows.
Hopefully. I mean, she's done a couple rants, right? I've seen them.
Yeah.
And hopefully, she said she's got friends around her who are helping her and stuff. And hopefully she gets the help that she needs, you know, because it's a very serious thing that she's doing. And you can see, it's just like, okay, if I didn't believe it before, I definitely believe it now.
Oh, yeah.
Because how you're writing, it's the same pattern.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of almost like frantic display of things. But also as well, the other thing is, it's just that the guy that SA'd him, like, we kind of need to know, the public kind of needs to know who that person is. Yeah. I think it's a very difficult one because it's a very personal thing to kind of have that out in the open. But it's just like, this person, and we don't know who it is, could be in a position of power and continuing to do these things. Yeah. And they could continue to be a danger to people, you know? And like, it just... That troubles me more than anything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because
if you flip the gender, would you not want to know who that man was?
Oh, absolutely.
And also, I think they said that there's a guy, and I think it's people are mistaking. They've wrongly identified a person as the guy that SA'd Richard's character. So, or his portrayal. Him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where the issues lie, because if the wrong people are being targeted, along with the woman, because she's saying she's getting death threats, but this man also said that he's getting death threats and stuff like that.
Remember, there was a similar thing when Michaela Cole did her show, and people were saying, and people were saying the same thing to her as well. Like, well, you should tell us who this person is, because it appeared from her story that they still work in the industry and they could be doing this. And I remember at the time she was firmly like, I don't want it to carry on other than me sharing my story with you. Like, if I wanted to do anything else, I would do it, but I don't want to feel pressured. So I understand the sentiment of it, but I guess he hasn't gone to the police for that. He did only for the stalker, so maybe he's like, I don't want it to go any further.
And also as well, it'll be difficult. It's sexual assault and that sort of thing is very hard to get a conviction anyway.
And
do you
the
know what I
time
mean?
lapse as well.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be difficult, and because unfortunately in his case there was drug use as well, and like the prosecution could easily tear that apart. To be honest, you know. So,
and they carried on working together.
Yeah.
And the way it ended, it implied that.
In my head, I'm just flipping the story. So if the man who's written the show was female and the woman was a man, there's no way that I would agree with anything that you're saying, because I'm like, there is a sexual predator out there. It doesn't matter if there was drug use. If this person is dangerous.
No, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but what I'm saying, the reality is that you don't get a conviction. And
which
that
is
is
wrong.
probably why he hasn't gone forward for it, because and also as well, sometimes you could do all the work, you could go to the police, do all reports, and they drop it themselves. They say there's not enough.
We'll come on to that.
You know
when
what I
we
mean?
get onto the Met Police, because that should not be the case.
It shouldn't be, but that's what happens, and it's the reality of it. So, and also as well, I mean, like there is the other thing about his sexuality as well at the time, and him processing that and dealing with that, and you know the struggles that he had with that too. It's a lot. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot in the whole season.
Is there? Is it okay to tell your story to the world like this? Is that the right? And I'm not. I guess I don't know if we can remove the victim and the way they cathartize themselves, but should there potentially be, because also Netflix is like, they're call and demand, call and response. So if there's an audience for it, why wouldn't it's, you know, the business of it all, it's not necessarily nefarious, it's like there's a demand for it, so why are we not putting it out there? And it's awareness. But do
you know what it is? It's like they need to step up. Richard shouldn't be the only voice saying, guys, I don't want the name out there. Netflix need to say something as well and be very supportive in his position. I just don't like the way that he's like almost like an island. Like they produced the freaking show. Do you know what I mean?
Because he's the writer. And the show was out there already. It had been a play. So he had used it for stand-up. I guess there's, I don't know. It's
had a life before Netflix, and I don't know the deal if it's a production company that brought it to Netflix either, and they've commissioned it and then they put their name on it. There's sometimes that's so they might not have been in the room per se having it made. It's just, this is the project that's been done. We've greenlit it. Go ahead, go forth.
But they know that if they put their machine behind it, this is what happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure,
and this is what they was hoping to happen.
Yeah,
they wouldn't take the project in the first place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think, like, in terms of telling the stories, this is an important one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't. Like, as soon as I saw it, like, it struck me down for a couple of days. I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
It really is, and it is really, and just him playing himself, writing it as well. It's a very, like, if you have ever been through something traumatic, it's a very, it's almost like a release as well. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that sort of thing. So I think it's. I think it's important. I don't know. It's like a grey area. But yeah, you're just going to have this fallout. I mean, two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And also, it just means that don't do things to people, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't want your name out there, you want your privacy, don't stalk, don't SA people.
There's no way she doesn't want it out there.
And if she's unwell, then there's no way of stopping it because she's unwell.
But there's that whole thing of stalking. That's because people are allowed to do it for so long.
Yes.
Right.
And they don't get punished. And she didn't get punished for that one, but apparently she stalked somebody else and she did get punished.
Yeah.
But she is a glory hunter. Like, she didn't need to reply to anybody's tweet to her when they found her.
She didn't.
She hadn't tweeted in 7 years. So
Well,
she's
from that
seizing
account.
this. For real. But she came back with vengeance. So she is seizing her moment.
But
People
also,
need to watch themselves.
if she's in her mind that, no, I'm the victim, she's going to respond.
Yes, because
she's going to.
Whatever is going on in her head, she was the victim then when she was stalking him too.
guys.
You
Watch
know
her
what?
back in it.
The fact is, at the end of the day, as well, it's just like if what she says is true, then also prove it as well. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. Yeah. So like,
Come with your receipts.
yes.
You need to top the level of emails and stuff. All right. Nana, who is your enemy?
Okay, I'm back again. All right, so my next enemy on the list is Keir Starmer. I just can't stand this dude, but Keir Starmer is a liar.
Oh.
Putting it out there.
Surprise.
Exactly. So in October last year, after Hamas and whatever happened in Gaza took place and in Israel, and then the fighting took place and all of that, Keir Starmer was on Nick Ferrari, and he said at that point that Israel has the right to cut off water and power, and he stated this, that they are able to do that because Israel are defending themselves, and he wouldn't condemn Israel at that moment in time at all. And Nick probed him twice. Now, this week, he goes on to GMB and he's like, no, I did not say that, even though they played him the clip of him answering Nick Ferrari. He said, no, and I'm glad you played the clip. Because that's not what I said. What I was doing was I was answering his first question and saying that, yes, Israel has the right to defend themselves. I did not say they have the right to cut off water and any aid or food going to Gaza. This is what he's saying now. He is an absolute liar. You can watch it. It's all out there. Keir Starmer does not stop lying.
As someone who's in the political realm, why do politicians lie so much?
Do you know, from my perspective, I think politicians are in such a bubble that they believe if they say something enough, we will believe them.
Like we don't hear them.
Yeah.
And it's, I love the fact that they played the clip because that's the evidence right there. It came out of your mouth. You said it. We've got the full context. So to backtrack in that moment shows exactly who someone is.
Yeah.
And I have done media training. The first thing you say to gather your thoughts in that moment is, I'm glad you asked me that question. Because what you're really thinking behind the scenes is, oh shit, I've been caught out. So I think that we will see who people are as the world and conflicts exist, and the politicians that unfortunately we have to cast votes for, you know, are asked these challenging questions. We'll see what they really care about. We'll see who they stand for. We'll see just how much they are willing to lie and dig themselves into a hole to win. And I think maybe we're a bit more awake now. And we're not going to let it slide. I hope we're not going to let it slide.
But they talk.
I don't know. They just lie. To me, they just lie. Like Trump has shown the world. Like, not to say politicians didn't lie before Trump, because they sure as hell did, but he just like lied in such a flamboyant way. Do you know what I mean? Now anyone can do it, right? Like absolutely anyone. So it's just.
But there's lie like, you know, that I didn't put that into that policy, and there's lie like, so here's a photo of you stealing X. Okay, that's not me in the photo, and we're looking at the photo going, that looks like it's not me. No, but it's you. That's your outfit. But no, it's not me. That's the sort of lie.
I think that's what the world we're in. It's just like, you know, if it is, if I say a thing, it's gaslighting 101, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's decided that he's going to gaslight the nation. However, the only thing I will say though is just like, good that you're now asking for a ceasefire. That's the only good thing that's come out of this. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've now changed your position. But yeah, you should take accountability. You should own up. You should at least say, you know, I misspoke, or do you know what I mean? I didn't have the full facts.
You know what,
do you know what I mean?
He should have said that. He should have said it.
No, she offered him that as well. She did say, do you actually regret saying that? And he doubled down on, I did not say it. Then she was like, so did you misspeak? I did not misspeak. I was answering the question before. It's crazy.
But I think that's the thing that people can't then forgive politicians for.
Exactly.
If you just owned it in that moment and said, you know what, I said it at a moment of in a moment of time, I didn't have the full facts. Maybe I believed it then. We've seen it's completely different now, and this is what I believe. You stop the conversation.
More of.
But to dig into a position when it's clear it's really clear what you said. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That's
They
what we
need to
would
go.
appreciate, the fact that as a more human politician, that's like, you know what, in the moment we had to say this is what it is, this is our policy, we had to ride with this thought. Now I've sat back, take a little bit of, if you want to spin it a bit, like, you know, I sat back and I thought about it, do something, but be honest in the moment, because humans generally are quite forgiving and we understand the switch of emotions when you're dealing with something. But
also, he's a humanitarian lawyer, isn't he?
is he?
Like, this is the craziest thing, that he, with his law background, to then be speaking on Israel and Gaza, and to be like, Israel have the right to defend themselves however which way they see fit. That was the party line for ages. That was what everybody was saying. We are not going to condemn them in any way. Israel has the right to defend themselves. They all did that. So even that he's asking for a ceasefire now, it's like, no, we can't trust you.
I mean,
I would never vote for him. Like, ever, ever, ever. Like, the dude is in the bin, as they say.
in the Shadow, who is your enemy of progress?
Okay, so my enemy of progress, unfortunately, I'm going to say unfortunately, because I thought this woman was an ally, and I believe I was mistaken, and I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Miss Drew Barrymore. Actress Drew Barrymore, long-time actress Drew Barrymore. You know, we saw her first, I think, in E.T.
Yeah,
We really loved her. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We really did, right?
Growing up with her.
Yeah, exactly. She has now got her own chat show, and she's had some amazing guests. She's had Janet Jackson recently, and she also had Kamala Harris, VP, Vice President of the United States. Yeah, she had her on the show. No. So they're on the sofa together, and I mean, I didn't see the full, do you know what I mean, conversation and everything, but it seemed like it was coming to a close. And she said, I'm going to quote, she said, I think we all need a tremendous hug in the world right now. Yeah? No. First of all, a hug. Are you freaking kidding? She is the vice president and you're saying we need a hug. Okay, cool. All right. But she said, but the country, yeah, so talking about America, we need you to be the mammaler of the country. What's a mammaler, please?
A mammy.
What the hell is that? Exactly. I was just so, what? Oh, you know when you have to rewind something and just play it again? Like, did that actually just happen? And you can see her. She actually even grabbed her hands, like pulled her in close. Kamala's face, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the media training, but she was like, this is awkward.
She was holding everything.
She really
did. Everything in to be raging.
She really, really did. And basically, yeah, I just didn't like the mamala combination. Didn't like that at all. I think she needs to be in the bin. Would she ask this to a male VP? I think not. She wouldn't be asking for a hug, and she wouldn't be asking for any mammalas at all.
So I was listening to the Breakfast Club and they were discussing it, and what I didn't have a chance to do is watch it in its entirety. Apparently Mamala is what her stepchildren call her. So with that nickname, there was a little bit more reasoning why, because people were like, did you just make up Mamala? Like Drew Barrymore, like did you come up with that? However, even still, and I think this is why it looked like Kamala's reaction was like, girl, don't say this. No matter what, don't do this. That's someone's family pet name. So even that is overstepping a boundary, being super familiar. And as everything that you said, would you ask a male, the Joe Biden, would you say we need a hug?
when he was a buddy for Obama, would you have had him on the couch and asked him for a hug?
Yeah, and all that type of stuff.
And that you need to be the daddy of
Papa
the nation.
Joe.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You wouldn't have done that.
So yeah,
it shows no strength. Like, actually, her positioning isn't to be like the big mammy of America anyway. No. And I find it very offensive that she was going down that line with her. Like, really, like, you should. We need a hug. What are you talking about? People are dying.
Yeah,
right.
Hug's not going to do it.
They can't
pay
their bills.
Are you talking about we need a hug? You need to flip and stop funding Israel is what you need to do. But anyway, I'm upset with Drew because I thought better of her as well.
Yeah.
But she showed herself.
I think because like similar to Gwyneth Paltrow, there's this, I don't know, this belief that we're going to say the right thing and what we're saying is so respectful and caring and we're not racist and we're not ignorant and we just love you and we love black women and what you do, what you represent. And then you say something foot fully in mouth, and it shows that you just haven't done the work to truly understand. And I don't know how many times we can explain to you guys what it is we don't need. We don't need your patronizing empathy. And I know you maybe don't think like, oh my God, like no, it's not that. Just listen. Please truly listen to what we're saying. Don't assume and don't put this ally. That's why I don't like the word ally. I don't like ally because it gives everyone a pass to think that they're my black friends, so I'm an ally. I'm going to march with you. But I really, really can't stand the word ally because I think people don't unpack what that really means and just wear it as a badge of honor.
I think they do. I agree with you. I think it's like they don't understand that it's an ongoing process. Like you don't just do one thing and now you're absolved of all racism or all racist acts in the future. No, it doesn't work like that. I want to see Drew's team. Who's on your team? Do you know what I mean? What is that made up of? Do you know what I mean? Because how the hell? And if someone on your team told you don't do this and you went ahead and done it anyway, then it's your ego. It's your ego. You need to be cut down aside. Seriously,
Anyone that knows how a show is produced knows that she would have run that line by somebody. Or it was on a prompter, or it was somewhere. But that didn't just pop into her head in that moment. She would not have said it to Hillary Clinton.
Right.
There we go.
Everyone just pause on that.
Yes.
Would you? So even if we forget the mammal a bit and the connotation around mammy and sort of the Black South, even just saying to Hillary Clinton, you should be the mother of the USA. Those words just wouldn't have come out of her mouth because it would have been a different level of respect. And that's the thing that we need to connect with. It's that thing of just always being othered, or if we're in a position of power, then we should be looking after everybody
in servitude properly, like
always in servitude.
It's misogyn wild, to be honest. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh, that upsets me because I liked Drew.
I mean, look, there's a redemption corner. Just do some more listening.
No.
Unpacking. You've got to do the work.
She. The thing is, she's been on Z-Way, right? Do you know what I mean? So she had to deal with some stuff already, right? I think she's got form. This is what I'm trying to. This is what I'm understanding now. I think she's got form because even in the writer's strike, she tried to say her show was coming back when the writer's strike wasn't over. Do you know what I mean? So this is your ego, babe. You think you can do whatever you want. Even when Janet Jackson was on, there was certain times you're cutting it up. Why are you talking when Janet's talking? Shut up.
She don't even talk that much.
Do you know what I mean?
Cutting off Janet. Janet's going on tour, by the way, coming to London.
She is.
Janet, if you want to come on our show, the Aunties would love to have you.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Oh my God. That would be too much for me, you know?
And speaking of who we'd welcome onto the Aunties, it's time for Welcome to the Family.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, I would like to welcome Congo to the family. I'm sure we've had Congo before, but this time we are welcoming Congo's government, which has issued a legal threat against Apple, claiming that the tech giant has illegally exploited minerals from them. Now, I really hope this goes somewhere. I'm praying it does for their sake as well, but I'm glad that it's being done. Long overdue. So welcome to the family.
Welcome, and good luck with it all. Godspeed. I'd like to welcome...
Go for it.
Go.
But I would like to point out the ongoing war that's going on in the Congo at the moment and the displacement of people that for some reason people don't seem to want to talk about. So I will welcome them in for standing firm and calling out a company like Apple, and let's acknowledge the work that they still need to do.
Yes.
Very fair.
The two things can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we'd like our politicians to understand the difference between the African countries as well.
I mean,
Chris Phillips, we're talking to you.
Actually listen when someone's speaking to you, because you were reminded like several times. Do you know what I mean? In one moment.
Not the same place.
Seriously.
And to re-ask again.
It's just...
He's an MP, yeah?
Yeah.
And
a minister with a portfolio.
Yeah, like... Yeah. I mean, isn't that...
And like,
did he say he was being funny?
No, like here, he tried to remix the thing and say it was a rhetorical question.
Yes, it was a rhetorical.
He was asking rhetorically. In his clarification, it was a rhetorical question. You don't know what it was. I mean, it's fair. Be honest, because not everyone knows. I know that Congo and Rwanda aren't the same, but I got a D in geography. I didn't pass geography. I did English though, guys. I'm not dumb. But at the same time. Be honest about what your lack of information and listen.
He could have just apologised.
Yes.
Just apologise. Sorry, just in the
Exactly,
moment,
yeah.
got it wrong.
Just
Flustered, nervous,
Yeah.
on the spot. Da, da, da.
that's not what I meant. Do you know what I mean? Like he literally could have said that
Yeah.
and apologized straight, but no, doubling down.
Rhetorical. Oh my god.
Silly
Anyway, this is
man.
welcome. We didn't mean to go off piece. Just call you out a little bit. I'd like to welcome to the family Jamaica, because they are planning to remove King Charles as head of state by next year. We'll keep you
happening?
posted. Yeah. And another breaking news: Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley has said she's going to halt plans to buy a 3 million former plantation from the British Conservative MP whose family profited from slavery. Richard Drax, the MP for South Dorset, owns a 617-acre land in Barbados that was once operated as a sugar plantation by his ancestors in the 17th century, where thousands of enslaved African people were forced to work. So Ms. Mottley said that the acquisition will be paused in light of public anger. And there'll be a public consultation to decide what happens next.
Okay.
I think, well done, Mia, for pausing and listening to the people.
Yeah.
Because it was a bit odd, that story there.
It didn't feel right. We was gonna
Yeah.
feature that, wasn't we? Because it's
Yeah.
like, I don't understand the buying a plantation from a family that owns slaves so that they profit now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. See, my radical side is like, you'd cease that somehow. But, you know,
The land was supposed to be repurposed to be more housing for Barbadians. It just seems a bit murky. Bajans or Barbadians?
Bajans.
yeah.
I thought
So
Bajans
what-
was
I think
But
she
you
was trying to
should be
keep the
paying.
peace. I think she was trying to keep the peace.
Right.
I think so. It was supposed to be repurposed, but I don't think it was going to be repurposed in the right way with social housing and the right. So they were still trying to
Okay.
profiteer. So I think she was just like, look, just get this man off the island. Let's just buy the land, and then people have kicked off, rightly so, to say, hold on, why are we still rewarding someone? This should be part of a reparations package, full stop, and he should just give the land back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's worth 150 million.
Already.
Apparently.
So the three's not even touching the sides.
Exactly.
Doing nothing.
So and given the platform that she's taken internationally around the role of Caribbean islands and moving to republics, but also calling out Western colonial countries for the role that they've had in slavery, but not just slavery, climate change and what people call a just transition around, there's lots of stuff going on here that is ultimately impacting loads of small islands around the world.
Yeah.
I think it's right that she took that stance.
Yeah.
And it's given Jamaica courage to go on this journey, because anyone that knows Andrew Holness or has followed him in the press, he's been promising this to Jamaican people for a very long time, and it's felt like he's dragged his feet.
Okay.
So I hope that in saying it, there's a clear timeline to make it happen versus saying it because there's an election coming up in the near future,
Right.
and then kicking the can down the road.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, welcome, guys.
Yes. There's lots of shifts anyway with the monarchy, so maybe it will. Now is the time.
Yeah.
Sade, who are you welcoming?
No, it's not the next thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I missed that little line.
Yes. So my next welcome to the family is George the poet. We haven't had him to the family before, but we are welcoming him, and we're welcoming him for reminding Black people that they shouldn't accept an MBE. And his book is coming out as well. So he didn't accept his MBE in 2019, and most people that watch us, that most of us are like, we would not accept one. And so we always champion when somebody else is saying don't accept it as well. And thinking of all the atrocities that the British Empire did around the world through colonialism and slavery and ongoing racism and everything else that they've done that is fuckeries. So this is our standpoint, but
Yes,
I would like to ask Natalie.
Because I've got an MBA.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. I was offered my MBE in March 2020.
Okay.
I had seen
so
George.
right after him. I think
Yes,
he-
yeah,
next wave.
exactly. We were in lockdown. I saw his video and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to accept it. Spoke to my granddad, and my granddad was like, sorry, what? I didn't leave my good Jamaica and come. Remember, generationally, my granddad, I was raised by my granddad, their generation, very different relationship with the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I grew up in a household where Queen's speech, she didn't speak on Christmas Day. I've said this before, coffee table books, royal family. It was like, I didn't leave my good Jamaica and come here for you to turn around and tell me you're not going to accept an MBE next to the Campbell name. Go and get your MBE. I was like, I at this point, I wasn't thinking about going into politics. I was just like, fair enough. I went, accepted it. I didn't even take anyone. The only person I would have taken was my granddad, and his mobility wasn't that good. Wasn't great. And I got it, came home, said, I've got it. He said, well done, moved on. There's no secret club. Someone was saying, there's a whole elite world that you're now in. There's no secret club. Nothing happens. Literally, you have it and that's it. So I absolutely agree with George the Poet's sentiment. I like the fact that we're having a conversation about it, because if you go Dizzy Rascal to Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Vanessa King-Ori, and Edward Enfield, MBs, Idris Elba, MBs, OBs, CBs. It's a conversation we need to have. My only thing to George is, if you felt that strongly, why did you perform at the royal wedding?
I think that's different, though. I do.
It's just a question. It's just a question.
It is a question, but I do think it's different. And what I'm interested in is, like, how do you feel about it now? Like, knowing that, and, you understand, the plight that's going on with the Caribbean, like trying to get reparations and everything like that. Like, does it still mean, if by what you're saying is I would
disappoint everyone 100 times over, because my granddad comes first.
That's it. That has been a lot of rhetoric from people who have said this is why I would take it. It's been about that generation, their mothers, their grandparents, saying that would give them so much pride, and that has been a strong moving
in
point.
The US,
nothing else. It's for family, and I empathise. But again, my stance is a similar stance. But it's just like
that's the thing. Because even though, like, I have people in my family similar, do you know what I mean? But I still wouldn't take it just because of what it represents and what it means today. Do you know what I mean? And making that stance and being, rejecting that position today. I think it's quite powerful when you do that.
I appreciate you actually clarifying that there's no secret club of power, because that's what another thing that there were a couple of comments on where under the post that posted George, and they were saying, the doors it opens, you know what it gets, and that's what I've always wanted to understand.
Unless
as well,
I missed out.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
There's no secret. There's no secret club.
Exactly, and I think that's a very good point to make, because that argument is used a lot, that it opens doors. And from my perspective, it does. I don't see those doors. I just see you just got the thing at the end of your...
Yeah. I mean, I think for the people that I know that have it, what they say is, it's not that they weren't already in that space. They kind of were, but getting the MBE gave them more... yes. People listen to them more. Like, they could then, two people have said this. It's like, the mayor wasn't talking to me before. And then as soon as I got this, it's like my next thing that I put forward, I was able to have a meeting. Okay. And who knows? Sometimes it's just your time, innit? Yeah. And you may not have had, it may have nothing to do with the MBE, but you're looking for reasons to justify getting it. And so it's being used a lot. But also, it does feel like an excuse, because I've heard the same thing. It's like, I've done it for my mum. My grandma, like it seems to be. I don't know, but I also haven't been in that position as well. Yeah. So it's like, I got to take what you're saying as this is what it is.
I absolutely understand all arguments, and I was discussing this last week, and I'm not on social media like that, so I didn't even think about what the conversation would be. But the relationship that I have with my granddad, he raised me, he passed. Not the November gone, but the November before. So, there is nothing, like anything he said I should do, I'd do it. It's not even a conversation. Yeah. And he's probably the only person in this world that I would ever heed or listen to. Like, my dad has said many things multiple times, and all now he's like, your ears are so hard. I'm like, sorry, what did you say? But my granddad, it's like, it's not even a conversation.
So maybe that's where the activism actually needs to take place then. Like, it's almost like talking to young people, you're preaching to the choir. But the generations before, to labour that point, it definitely had very similar with my mum, like just she just didn't see the ills that the Queen and royal family had done and what they represented and colonialism. It was just a different thought process, and it's only through talking about it lots
but also
that
experience.
it started to change.
So for him, growing up in Jamaica, and coming here, yes, it was. He talked about the racism often, but he never came here and felt like an immigrant. He felt like he was part of a Commonwealth community. He was invited here to come and contribute to what felt almost like home as well. It was very, very different. When he talks about it, the words that he uses are very different. And so I also empathize with that. And I just think for that generation, we also have to apply grace to how they grew up and the way that they see it, and then make a decision on us. But I'm like, I've got it. There's no club.
So
I know
don't
why
think it's helped.
No,
Not that you can say. Okay.
no. Not for me.
All right, Charlotte, who are you welcoming?
Okay, so I am welcoming the American students that are protesting the Israel-Palestine conflict at the moment. And there's been a lot going on, like different universities like Yale, NYU, Harvard, Berkeley, Stanford, Princeton, Columbia, and they have been met with force, sometimes like real violent force. I think I saw a clip like where on Columbia University, maybe last night even, it was like riot police, it seemed to remove people and everything like that. And they should have the right to protest, and they're peacefully protesting as well. And you're seeing increasing numbers of these peaceful protesters being attacked by bystanders as well. And it's just got to stop. So I commend them for their bravery. I love the fact that they're standing up for something. They're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to do it in the right way. And just welcoming all of them.
Absolutely. And it's like, it's usually where change is affected is on student campuses. It's students that young people lead the charge. There was some commentary now about, the consequences, which, you might fail your course, might not be able to return back to school, all those type of things, lose your funding, lose your sponsorship, any student loans, all that, not, benefits and stuff like that. But that's the price of war, as it were. So commend you guys, because you're losing a lot. And also, this is not about that. There are Jewish students who are also getting caught up in the mix. There is, not every protest is perfect and smooth. They're peaceful protests, but they're fighting as well as, so it's not just about the students protesting what's happening in Hamas and anti-Israel. It's just everyone that's kind of trying to stand up for their rights, and they're all being treated like animals. And they're talking about, this is what I don't understand, what keeps coming up, police cities that are being built in America. I need to look into it. Yeah, it's like something about police. I keep seeing, and I didn't look into it. So it's like they're turning states into police cities, and I don't know what that means. Like, something about the police being turned into military force. So,
but they're being really, really heavy-handed with it, and it doesn't need to be that way as well. And I did notice the teachers coming out and speaking and saying that, we don't want this, we didn't ask for this, calling for the heads of the universities to go and resign and that sort of thing because they're, sanctioning this behavior from the police. It's insane, and it's putting these young people's lives at risk at the end of the day. Not just, do you know what I mean? Not just by the violence, but their futures, just for believing in something, just for standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves. That's insane.
Exactly. And the escalation of the violence that's what heightens the anxiety and tension between two factions that have the right to protest whatever side you're protesting. We can have our stance, you can have your stance as a student, but if it's peaceful protest, let it be peaceful. Stoking up the tensions around it.
And also, sorry, just to add quickly, what they're not reporting on is the number of Jewish students who are also supporting the
that's the point. Yes,
protest as well. Do you know what I mean? They're downplaying it, like making it like a real rift, and in some cases it just isn't that.
Exactly,
everyone's kind of like saying the same thing, and it's the police that are the aggressors in this situation.
I was just going to say it's the US's modus operandi when it comes to protests. So if you think about Montgomery and the hosing down of civil rights activists.
Yeah.
If you think about protests for the Vietnam War, if you think about Ferguson, that is how the police in the US approach protests of any form. And for me, that is the systemic issue that needs to be changed. How do people peacefully protest anything in the US without literally physically being harmed?
Especially the country that stands so firm on democracy.
But I mean, where were they on January 6th? Where were all these people? Where were they? They were there, innit?
They were there protesting, taking over Capitol Hill.
Yes,
so
exactly. All in there. Also, additionally, so the media coverage as well, when you go to mainstream media and how they're saying it's like everything is anti-Semitic. This is an anti-Semitic protest. Like their chants were literally like police leave. It was nothing. They weren't even talking about Israel. They were chanting about the police, and the reporter was like, I can't hear them clearly. We can all hear. I think they're talking about Israel. Like, you know, you're just like, no, this is crazy. But obviously, you know, so many people, that's all they're watching is news coverage and being brainwashed. And how they skew it, like actually show the protests going on as well. It's like, it's all very hideous.
Yeah. And just throwing a little hideous behaviour, Caitlyn Jenner antagonising protesters outside the White House Correspondents' dinner. As she was walking in, there were protesters protesting the fact that journalists are inside having a jolly, because the White House, losing my words, Correspondents' dinner is like famously where the in-sitting president gets roasted and have a bit of fun. Donald Trump has actually been a bit of a rebel and not attended any, because he's like, I'm not sitting through this.
He can't take it. He can't
laugh at himself. So Colin Jost hosted it and Biden was in there, but then as she was entering, Caitlyn Jenner was like middle fingering protesters, filming them and getting up in their faces. And she tweeted some horrible stuff on her socials as well. Antagonising, and then...
Always in the bin.
Always in the bin. Right. Deep underneath it. But yes.
I have my last welcome to the family. Okay. This was a late edition. Kendrick Lamar is my final welcome to the family. Because I'm not a hip-hop head. And I didn't know what his comeback was going to be, if I was going to like it. But I listened to it 10 times in a row. I went scrolling on TikTok, and I watched all of these different think pieces where people were talking about their favourite lines. And I was literally like, I love this guy. I've fallen in love with him. I kind of like Drake as well, but I absolutely love Kendrick. I think this was brilliant. Yeah. It was masterful. There were so many layers to it. I can't even think of my favourite line at this moment, but I don't know what Drake is going to say. Drake's response was very weak. Did you all see Drake's response?
10 things I hate about you.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Come on, it was sassy
I thought
it
was funny. It was, but that's Drake though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
precisely.
I just thought that was funny. Because obviously I hate the way you look. I hate the way you smile. I hate all that kind of thing, which is, what do you call it? A nod to DMX and his Breakfast Club interview. Do you know what I mean? And that was I think that's just brilliant. So he's just like, he's not just like, all of these guys, we hate you. He's going to invoke the dead.
Yes. Also
still hate you.
Yeah. And he's going to
loved it.
I mean, everyone knows I'm a K-Dot fan. I love Kendrick. love Kendrick. This was like, chef's kiss. We've been waiting, anticipating for the comeback. He did. Euphoria is brilliant. It's just even how it started with a reversed quote from The Wiz. Yeah. Where Richard Pryor, he plays The Wizard of Oz, is exposed for his fakery. And it's just that. It just sets the tone. It starts off, lulls you into a sweet little lullaby, nice, beautiful old school R&B track, and then he goes in for the kill. And you don't know about that.
That was the part.
Like, you don't raising your son, you don't know about that.
To actually question his fatherhood.
Yeah, man.
To literally question his morality.
Absolutely.
To say he's a baddie standing next to Sexy Red. To talk about his BBL. Like, it's just layers on layers on layers. To actually go into, this was somebody that was explaining the LA slang that they adopted in Canada. And then he had changed it. Yeah, and he had changed. And I was literally like, look at that. Like, you're just getting gunned on gun on gun. Yeah. Like, and I don't know if Drake has the dexterity to come back really without flipping having 50 writers.
This is the thing. We don't. I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
You think he could battle?
I think he could probably try and do something. He's got a fan base. People are going to like it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they will push up, and he can make a hit. Like that's the thing about Drake. He can actually make a hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might do a little something.
We like Drake with his melodies, not when he tries to be a bad boy. That's what it is.
Oh, did you pick up on that Drake has an essay case that he paid off? I did not know about that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great. That's great dissing when you actually illuminate some other little fuckeries that Drake
And he said he's got more.
Well, that's what he said. It's just like, don't lie about me and I won't tell the truth about you.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
coming.
okay. And also Euphoria, obviously he's a co-producer or something on Euphoria as well, the show.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm going to take the things that you love and destroy them one by one on such a level that you're gonna have to listen to it 10 times to know how deep I've dissed you. Do you know what I mean?
Natalie, you're very quiet. I'm figuring you haven't heard these.
I've been out in the streets
bubble.
campaigning, so I have no idea
So I
what's
want to put to
going
you,
on.
if you had to battle one of your fellow opponent running mates, who would you pick
battle?
for the battle?
Oh, you take the
Who do you think you could
person.
destroy?
You take the person that's got the seat that you want, right? So
Right.
it'd be Sadiq all
It'd be
day,
Sadiq.
all day.
What kind of things would you say?
Ask me on the 3rd of.
Okay, cool. I would actually like to see that.
Do you know what's so mad? Sadiq is literally from the same estate as me, you know?
Oh, wow.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have some
Prince
bars
estate.
still.
So I'll be conflicted.
I'm taller than him, so it's all right.
So you ready to Drake this K-Dot's hype? You're on a roll. Okay, guys, let's get into Aunties Know Best with some dilemmas.
Okay.
So this is what I saw on social media. About men in their feelings. So a guy was in his feelings about his friends not checking in on him. So he said, I just blocked and deaded my friendships with 4 of my homeboys. I had back surgery literally a whole month ago, and not one of those ninjas checked on your boy. I just blocked and let it be what it is. Ninjas weren't my real friends. So a few comments, it got in a tizzy. Some people saying, is my man a girl or something, WTF? So if he hasn't heard from them in a month, does that also mean that he hasn't checked in on any of them in a whole month? Or blocked them without talking to them, then came to tell strangers on the internet? And final comment, the fact that some of you so-called giant toddlers are saying stuff like man up or he's too sensitive is borderline insanity and is why we have such a high suicide rate amongst men.
I think that's fair. He should be able to share what he's feeling. It would have been nice if he could have spoken to at least one of them. But if you really you're in your feelings, like, nah, come on, back surgery is a big thing.
Yes.
None of these guys checked on him. I think it's fair. And it's fair for him to share his feelings as well.
Yeah. It's out of order.
Yeah.
My brethren, I've got back surgery. You haven't checked on me or what? Over the message.
I'm gonna send me some soup.
That's
nothing.
crazy. Don't even send me a meme. That's crazy, man.
Said, do you want a delivery order or anything?
Yeah, they ain't his friends.
But also, guys, I'd love to have some men here, but the way they deal with their emotions, like, could they have been sitting there, oh, he's all right? You know, that kind of real...
No, but this is the
I'm
thing.
asking.
It's just like, can we stop giving men this pass? Like, they can't be good people. Like, it doesn't take... Like, we have a basic understanding of kindness, niceness, do you know what I mean? Like, kind of thing. Like, you know, you might see someone on the stairs and they need help. You know, yes, I can help that person. Let alone your friend who's had back surgery. You're telling me you can't message. That's ridiculous.
Messaging is... But also, it's like...
I mean, that's on a very minimum.
And I'm not
do you see what I
victim
mean?
blame. I'm just exploring the conversation, stretching it. But like, is he communicating? Also, is he like, yeah, no, man's all right?
But they didn't communicate.
He doesn't have to. He shouldn't have.
I'm just saying.
He's the invalid. He shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Men.
Look, I've got 6 brothers, and what I can say is that I think in any of in that situation, they would say exactly the same thing. If their friends didn't check in on them after back surgery or a knee surgery, football, whatever it is, or even you lost your job, you're like, you're not my friend.
Yeah.
And like that, it's just common decency.
You know what I mean?
It's not a male or female thing.
Right.
It's just, if we're friends and you know I'm out for a month, do you at least just say, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?"
Yeah.
I'm a Libra.
Oh, hello.
Oh, you
No, I'm just saying hello.
If I was out for a month and a friend did not check on me, we could have been friends since primary school. You got
wild.
deleted.
Long.
You got deleted.
I don't know
Honestly.
how do you guys even operate with not communicating? But then also, it would be interesting to explore what was the nature of your lot's friendship in the first place. How did it get to a point where you've got, because it says block friends, doesn't say how many. No, four of your boys, not one.
Yeah.
What situation have you been in? What
For it to burn you, though, I'm assuming they're your ride.
Yeah.
But that's
They're
what
your
I'm saying, but
codies.
then what kind of relationship have you had prior to this that they all four, not even one, four of your
Maybe
brethren?
he literally thought. I mean, this is the thing. Sometimes you don't actually know. You think we are crew.
Yeah.
They are like your good time homie.
Oh.
You're just out of the good time circle because you had back surgery. They're probably still doing their thing. Sometimes it's that you don't know your place in the crew. It's horrible. And now he knows.
His
so you
place.
remove them.
Yeah.
Like, they're not my boys, innit?
But that's
it opens
wild.
you
All
up to
four.
finding your boys. Yeah, sometimes that's the crew. It's like you weren't
Important.
seeing it. Yeah, like he may have just literally have been when they're going raving, buddy.
And he didn't
Sad, but
realise
yeah.
that actually there's more to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit like that.
All right, Sade.
Me? Oh, yes, of course, me. Hi.
Hi.
So, on the internet, specifically TikTok, I'm going to say, there has been this question that's been going around for a little while, and it just keeps on going, getting very, very, very heated. And it's a very simple question. I want you guys to answer it for me, okay? Think about when I say it, okay?
Okay.
Would you rather be in the forest with a man or a bear, and why?
I actually do not know my answer.
Yeah, that's why it's concerning.
I have a question.
Nobody
I will
knows
entertain. I
anything.
will entertain it for the purposes of the pod.
Thank you.
Go on.
Do we know what state this man is in?
No.
Okay, just a man.
Just a man.
Like in the same way, you know, like when you're looking down yonder and then you see the bear. Like, is it a bear? Is it a
is it
bear?
a man? Oh,
Or
it's
is it
a man.
Is it,
Yeah.
It's one of those.
What would you prefer it to be?
What
A
would you
bear
prefer?
or a man?
I think, though I'd like to think I remember all the things that you're supposed to do when you see a bear, I think my mind would go to a man because I think I would know what to do if that man posed a threat. With a bear, in my mind, I'm thinking they're super fast, super big, super powerful. I might forget the rules. So a man, I think I understand more.
Yeah, man, definitely. I know with a bear, you're supposed to just stay still.
Yeah.
But then I watched one bear thing and he just threw the girl and like it's long. So I would take my chances with a man. I mean, I pass them every day. So,
You know.
What would you
So
say?
I saw this, and actually I was with a younger group of girls, and everyone said the bear, and it made me curious to understand why the bear. And in listening to them, I'm like, wow,
What did they
young
say?
girls do not feel safe around men, and there's so much to unpack within that. It made me think, actually, I might take the bear, but listening to both of you, probably I'd take the man, but I'm very conscious of why so many people say the bear.
yeah.
Okay. I'm
Who you go
definitely
for?
going for the bear because I do know what to do. And a bear will only attack you if it's like in survival mode. Do you know what I mean? And the bear's probably likely, well, if it's hungry and it needs to survive, do you know what I mean? And it's trying to attack you, it'll probably kill you. Do you know what I mean? I just think there's many things that men can do to you that are worse than death. I just don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think, you just don't know what you're going to get. If something happened to you and it was a man, it doesn't mean that people believe you. If it was a bear attack, they would literally believe you. You could say, they would believe you without question.
Yeah, with all the scratches on
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even if you didn't, they're still more likely to believe you than a man attacking you. I just think, I could really understand, and I don't think it's just young women. I think it's women of all ages that would prefer a bear over a man, because you just need to make yours, well, what they say anyway, and look this up as well to make sure that I'm right, is that you just need to make some loud noises, do you know what I mean, and stay still, and hopefully they will just go away.
Oh, so I didn't know about the noises.
Yeah.
I watched the
you had to
video
keep
and
still.
I think they were just all still, but I don't remember them making any noise. But that is the video where one girl, the bear walked away like, I'm going to leave him. And then he's like, actually, nah. And then threw one of the women. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think definitely this phenomenon shines such a bright light on how far disconnected we are. And yeah, I found it really sad. Like watching through all of them and the men as well doing similar. I was like, this is really, really sad.
What were the men saying?
They would pick the bear.
But
over
what
a
are they?
woman.
What are they fearing?
Because the woman may say, I did this. It was like, it's just another metaphor of gender wars. And it really does feel like this is a firm agenda now. Like just the contempt that sits in a lot of men's hearts for women. It's unsettling.
Where did that come from? Have they explored that?
They
Well,
need to.
The thing is, what's interesting as well, when you see like the married couples, couples, let me just say couples that are doing this question as well. So they're asking their husband, what would you prefer your daughter to face? And the husbands and the fathers are saying the bear. And then they just ask, so why is that? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, so you understand what women fear. Do you know what I mean? But you're not actively doing anything to solve or resolve those things in your day to day, really and truly, because the onus is generally put on the women to protect themselves and But you answering these questions the way you do, you understand what it is. Do you know what I mean? So it's a very interesting phenomenon.
It's humanity. It's exactly the same with racism. It's like you can ask any white person, do you want? No, I don't want to. Because they know what it is. They know what the challenges are to be black. That doesn't mean that they necessarily are also going to stop it. That's that I can only put it down to humanity, because we see it in so many different ways. You can be oppressed over there. As long as I'm fine, it's okay. Yeah. I know you're being oppressed though.
And that's the thing. So obviously there's so many iterations of it. And then you get the educated, well-balanced white women who are just like, for women of colour, we're the man. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you.
women
Drew, are you
of colour
listening?
would choose the bear. Do you know what I mean? And you have to understand. So the same argument that you're having with men and why they don't understand why women are choosing the bear is the same process that you have to go through. Do you know what I mean? To understand why women of colour wouldn't choose. Do you know what I mean?
To people going to trust you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
interesting.
interesting. It's very interesting. But I like that it sparks a conversation and gets people to think about things
very
in a
good
different
one.
It's
way.
definitely a good one to go down. If you're on TikTok, on the old TikTok.
Get on in it.
I have a dilemma that has been raging in my house. And so I want to bring it to you guys, I don't know how this conversation came about, but my husband, Russell, he said that to create a child...
So you named him.
I know.
Yes, I have to name him. It's 50-50. He was like, it's 50% male, 50% female. And I was like, no. It's like, how is it not? Like biology, you can't have a child without a man. A man can't have a child without a woman. So it's 50-50. And I was like, it's absolutely not 50-50, because my 50% involves my body and my life. Your 50% involves you bussing. It's not the same. And then I went on to ask him, I was like, how many men have died from childbirth? He's like, that is not, you can't have a child without a man, so it's 50-50.
That's not the question I asked you.
I gave the percentage of 30% to the man, 70% to the woman, and I think I'm being generous. Really, I think it's about 90-10, realistically. It's like 90% on the woman, 10% on the man. Am I insane for this?
No.
Not at all.
We house, we cook, we incubate, and our life depends, and the baby's life depends on the host, the mother. And I think it's easy because of the 50-50. It's just definitely a brainwash that has just been... Wait, there's some men in the background who are guffawing. It's like the empowerment of men, like, obviously it's 50-50. But when you think about it, and we haven't been... this is the first time I even have thought about it. And I'm sure I've said, yeah, let's go halves on a baby. And I've not argued that. You're not going halves on a baby with me.
Not R. Kelly, bro.
I didn't even associate. I just, because it became a social media phrase or a social phrase. I removed the Kelly of it all. But yeah, even myself, I'd not thought about it. And I probably said it without thinking. But absolutely not. It's not 50-50. You're not crazy. The men are that disagree with this point.
It's something that I want to come back to when we get into the other conversation around nuance and social media, and just the general world that we're in has taken away the space for us to have a nuanced conversation. Everyone falls into A or B. There's no room for grey or for actually, well, it can't be logically, yeah, your 50-50 is right, but physically, emotionally, mentally, all of these is nowhere near 50. But I think we live in a space where, like, there's not always time to have the conversation or get into that level of thought, and lots of people just go, "What? 1 + 1 is 2." That's it.
Yeah.
And there is no space for anything else, especially in a character limited social media world. Because there are lots of conversations. So even the bear, it was an A or B choice, right? But actually there's so much nuance around that.
Yeah.
And the challenge is that we're asking people lots of A or B questions. We're about to do it tomorrow. Well, there's 13 options. But people throw everything into A or B. And actually it's not A or B.
There is way more things to think of.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
I think... But I think the facts are facts, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, like, for conception, yes, that's 50-50, isn't it? You need a sperm and an egg, for conception. But to grow the baby, for it to be born into the world, that is a woman's job.
For 9 months.
They can't work any other way. Serious. What are you talking about, bro? Like, and just have sorry, Russell, I'm trying to be respectful, but I'm confused. Serious. But, like, yeah, we need to, not it's not as serious as this, but there does need to be like a re-education then. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And understanding of what actually women do. And like, we have unfortunately been oppressed for centuries for these things to be misconstrued and people not understand, and even having women argue the same things as well, that not understand that that the woman does the majority of the work. Come on. Like, seriously.
I think you've hit the nail on the head though. Conception is 50-50.
Yes.
Giving birth to a baby,
growing, cooking it.
That's 100%.
Is 100% because it's your nutrients, it's your
everything.
Yeah,
Really?
at that point,
This is the
brain
thing.
cells.
And teeth.
Yeah.
Hair.
Do you know what I mean?
That's the nuance. That's
everything
the
is-
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
And I just don't, sorry, not to cut you, but I just don't understand how, like, you would explain all this, but they're still going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean of it? So you just want to stop here. It's the whole
Strutting
thing.
clocks. Yes, I've created life. Okay.
I think
literally-
it is that was where I kept on going back over and thinking, am I going mad? Because this is so obvious to me. But I do think there has to be a re-education. So then there was another clip that was going around that had millions of views, and it's a man talking down to this woman about how you guys think you're so special and your egg is actually inferior because the sperm is the one that travels through, and the fastest sperm gets through and penetrates the egg. And so on the post, I was like, this is folly, because new science actually shows that the egg actually allows itself to be open to the sperm that it determines is the fittest one. And they don't even know how this intelligence works. But it's not there are lots of fast sperms all around the egg at once. And then they kept on seeing that actually the egg selects one and then opens. It's not the fastest one, because there may be 100 of them all there. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And then it's like the intelligence is like, yeah, that one, and opens up.
That's
so
the best
it's
match.
still not inferior in any way. Like, it's like, and I don't want men to think that this is like, oh, we're like there's nothing to
Emasculating
you, or you're not important. Obviously, you're here for a reason. The point is, the woman is here for maybe, let's say, a bigger reason.
And they
So
say
we
that
just got more to do.
they say that when
Go on,
sorry,
sorry.
they say that when it suits them, when you say, love making's for creating babies and stuff like that and having sex, you know what I mean? Anyway, go on, finish.
No, I was just gonna say, like, what was I gonna say? It's kind of gone.
Why do they want to feel important?
No, I was gonna say, sorry, yeah, that I don't think it's necessarily like, well, different roles. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's like bigger or whatever. I think people just have different roles, and I just would love for people to just understand that and accept that. Like, your role is not better than my role. We're just different. That's all, and that's okay. Like, I just don't.
That requires nuance.
It does.
It does. Yes, it's a theme.
But you made me think about, what's the movie growing up where the baby that spoke and
Look Who's Talking.
and how does it shows
Oh,
that
yeah,
journey
yeah,
of the
yeah,
sperm
it
to
does.
the
Yeah,
but
an
what they
intro.
show is the egg, the sperm breaking through the
Yes.
fighting.
Yeah.
The fastest one, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like,
That's always
yeah.
been the
But
fastest
it's a
female.
male
exactly.
But I think-
view,
And I
isn't
think
it?
that is just being reinforced through different media. And so whatever shows we're not watching, that's just being replayed.
Yeah.
Men
That's
should
the
be
part of the challenge.
demanding for the re-education of themselves, because you guys have been sold misinformation.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be angry with us. Be angry with the patriarchy.
Yeah.
It's how
design.
special. It's like, they always say, like, a society is only as it's valued on how it treats their old or women and
Yes.
children.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a society where you are always dogpiling on women, the ones that bring forth life, it makes no sense. And we can see it through how the planet is being treated.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
how are we going to evolve into the species that we're supposed to be when you don't value the being that brings forth the human
life? You. Exactly.
Like, it's so ludicrous to me. It's like, I'm not even saying that there should be some kind of like divine feminine worship or anything, but just
Really?
know.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't
You know.
mind, but it's just you have access to a multiplier. Like, that's it's like a part of your team. Like, you should be like, I gotta value that.
Yeah, you'd think.
This is it. It's control, power, all of that. Nasty
I'm
stuff.
glad you guys are understanding.
I mean,
I was
come
going
on.
mad.
No, definitely
at
not.
all.
Well, my boyfriend thinks lovemaking is for simps.
Okay.
Please help me talk to my boyfriend. I've been with my man for 4 years and I'm starting to question if he's the one for me. We have a very active sex life, and in the early days we were at it like rabbits. Rough and ready sex everywhere, anywhere, all the time. My boyfriend is a bit rough around the edges, but has a good heart and treats me well. But for the past year or so, I've been asking him to pay more attention to what I like in the bedroom, because our sex has become one-sided. It's all about him. Anything he wants, it is what it is. I used to like doing what he wants, but now I'm getting a little bit bored of it. He only goes down on me once in a while and absolutely forget foreplay. When I brought it up, he brushed it off, saying he's not a simp and at least I pleasure, which I do. But sometimes I just want to be laying down and massage and have slow R&B sex, not every day bang bang back shot and blowjobs. I love him, I really really do, but I'm tired. Help me change the situation. What should she do?
I mean,
She's had the combos.
I brought it up. I don't know when I brought it up, I don't know if it's up singular or multiple. She didn't say multiple, so maybe it's the first time and she's like, shit, shot down. How do I come back and do it again?
I think it's a sex therapy thing. Do you know what I mean? I think it's that. I think he probably he might need to hear from somebody else that you're causing a massive problem here. And if you don't sort it out, what could happen? Might step out, might leave you. Do you know what I mean? Those kind of things. I think he could do well with a bit of an education.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to step back and say, in a relationship, I think you need to know what it is that you prioritize. And so is sex the thing that she prioritizes over the love, the care, the other things that she says that she likes about him? And if it is, in the top 3, then yes, go down the route of, and you want to stay with him, go down the route of therapy. if it's so important and he's not willing to change, is she willing to leave? I think she needs to have this conversation with herself before she continues the jet. Like, what is the outcome that you ultimately want? Because if he says, I'm not changing, then what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then also, there are other ways to receive pleasure, and it doesn't need to include him. So just look at the broader spectrum. So I'm taking a systems view of what it is that she is talking about versus just focusing on the sex, because we all know a great relationship is a lot more than just the sex.
Interesting.
I think that he said lovemaking is for simps. If she doesn't want a man like that, I would say invest in finding another one that suits you better, because he sounds very immature. And is it even worth the time to spend on him? You know, sometimes it's just learn it quick and move on.
I think there's a conversation about how sex is viewed between the sexes and why this guy thinks that paying a woman attention in the bedroom, it ultimately turns him into a simp and it emasculates him. Why would that be a I don't understand, because the average heterosexual man is quite fearful of being labelled anything but a heterosexual man. So then, wouldn't the attributes of a heterosexual man mean that you would give everything to a woman in the bedroom? Do you know what I mean? Like, to prove how virile and attentive you are. But why?
Tank was talking about that, where he was saying actually there's on the Breakfast Club, that men need to fall back in love with women and their pussies. Like, he was going into it, and so there definitely is a school of thought that I get my rocks off. And, you know, there's loads of hoteps that are like, women shouldn't even orgasm. Yeah. So she may have that type of a guy.
Of what?
Hoteps.
What's that?
A hotep is...
Hey, Mama, Africa, Earth Mama. Welcome to my world. Burning incense, wearing sandals, dashikis. Okay. That's a very typical view of a very black, empowered male. However, there are women in this group as well, but it's usually the picture is a man. And he has very extreme black power views, which tend to be extremely sexist and unbeneficial to women, black women.
And it's superficial, right?
So it's superficial because,
it's a whole movement. They're really more in America, but
And there is a actual good kind of work that they do, but then there's also this kind of misogynistic, extremely dodgy.
Yes.
But yes,
side to them.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, I think I'm leaning to, like, 4 years in, if he's not being tender to you, maybe it's time to find somebody else.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
There we go.
Weird. Okay, so it's changed. Okay, fine. We'll go with this. Okay, my mum refused to buy my son a birthday present, so I stopped speaking to her. But now I need a babysitter for the weekend. So would I be the arsehole if I asked her anyway? Okay, me and my mum had an argument 3 weeks ago and haven't spoken since. She gets on my nerves because she refused to buy presents. Not birthdays, not Christmas, not anniversaries, nothing. It's bad enough that she never gets presents for me, and she hasn't done that since I was in primary school. But she also does this for my son, like her only grandchild. He recently turned 5 and she's never bought him a thing, not even a card. She doesn't subscribe to capitalist occasions. However, for my son's 5th birthday, I did beg her to actually get him a present. She said no. So I went ahead and bought him one from her anyway. When she came round, he, you know, being the nice boy that he is, said thank you for the toy. She straight away said, I didn't get that for you. I pulled her away and respectfully told her off, you know. She got vexed and said, it's not like he'll remember it. Oh, she's rude. She left in a huff and I haven't called her since. I don't even feel bad. However, I need to go out with the girls on the weekend and I need my mum to babysit because my other half is on nights. What should I do?
Have you been there? Has anybody done that? I've never done this.
I've had mum, like, I'm not babysitting, and then I've had to think about how do I appease her. But the not buying presents, I think I'm just not used to that life. So I can imagine getting into it with my mum, like, Mum, come on, just buy something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can force someone to change. So it kind of like you're putting her on the spot because something you don't like. It's this kind of loggerheads thing. What is the argument? Is it you just want to be right? Or do you really... Because somewhere in this, the mum has her views and she has her stance. So, and it has been the stance since you were young. So you trying to force the change, and she has consistently proven that she isn't. It seems like you just want to spoil for a fight. And then now you need her. Now you want to double back and be like, I've got a sweet, or I've got to do something, and I think I'm right. You have every right to have your opinion, I think, and you can be upset with it, but this is your mum's way, and it's not something new. So it's a bit... You would be an arsehole if you manipulate your way back in. Stand on business and just be like, Mum, I'm not, but I need a babysitter. Can you help?
Like, keep it moving.
Just keep
with
it. Just be
honesty.
real. You're upset with her, but you need her. I don't think you can sidewind your way around it. Just be honest, I think.
Yeah. What do you think?
Again, I'm a prioritization person. If she's asking her mum if her mum will babysit, it's probably based on the fact her mum has babysat before.
Right.
And so that her mum's way of showing love might be acts of service. And so some people might be like, but it's your job as a grandmother to babysit. Some grandmothers might say otherwise. So I think having a conversation with her mum about how her mum shows love and what sort of love she would want herself and her son to experience is probably a more fruitful one, as opposed to talking about a present. I'm not someone that buys presents. I will buy things all year round, and I will do experiences. But if you ask me at any point in time to buy some tat off the television because all the kids have it, that's the fastest way to not get me to buy you something. I don't have kids, but like for my godchildren and stuff, I'm like, don't send me anything plastic. No. So I think the deeper question is, how does her mum show up for her and her son?
Yeah.
Yep.
Such a sensible answer.
You're about to drop your bomb.
Right. Yeah, you're not going out. You're not going out. Seriously, that's wild. That's wild. Like you've you know, like you said, you know your mum. You've known your mum since she was born, isn't it?
Yes.
She's raised you. Now you've got your own child. So you've known your mum this whole time, plus 5 years, yeah? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so when you getting mad, so you're actually the arsehole for upsetting her in the first place, and you've lied to your child as well. What kind of example is that? Do you know what I mean? So you're in trouble. So no, you shouldn't have the audacity to even ask your mum for anything. Go and sit and think about your behaviour.
You're grounded.
That is
Seriously,
fair.
yeah.
That is fair. That is fair. Yeah, for real. No, I think that is spot on.
There's not much we can say to that.
That was spot
You're in
on.
trouble. Face the wall. You ain't going out.
No.
That's all.
You got to tell you got to tell your girl sorry.
Yeah.
I'm grounded at your big age.
Okay, all right. So, I think my black friend is racist.
Oh God.
Dear aunties, I'm in my 40s, I'm a white lady, and I'm a really huge fan of your show. Thank you.
Thank you.
I listen all the time, and I pretty much always agree with your opinions on so much. So I'm hoping you can help me.
Okay.
One of my good friends is a black woman who I've known since secondary school. She's a really good friend, and my kids love her. We live really close to each other, and usually we do our weekend shopping together. It's been our routine since we had our kids. My friend is like you guys. She's not afraid to say what's on her mind. And I hope you don't mind me saying she's a really proud black woman.
That's okay.
Why would we mind?
You know, sometimes...
Oh, sorry.
Might be an ally.
We have a really honest relationship where we always lay our cards on the table about all sorts of topics. But there's one thing that she does that has me looking at her funny. She only offers her seat on the bus to elderly black people. If an old white person gets on the bus, she'll look right through them and act like she can't see them.
Wait, what?
I get up no matter who's in front of me and needs to sit down. And then when I thought about it, she generally only helps black people. If we're shopping or she needs to hold open a door, it's only black people. So it's making me question how she really thinks about white people, and for me, and me for that matter. I'm scared to bring it up because I don't want her to be offended. What should I do?
That's a tough.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Is she?
Go on. It was.
I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to invalidate her experience. Yeah, but I was gonna ask if she's sure, because that's a serious. That's.
Is she sure that that's what she's seeing?
Yes, that's first of all.
Okay.
I would want to make sure that that's exactly what I'm seeing. So I would have to put it to the test to make sure over a certain amount of time.
Like, hire some.
No, just like. Maybe give it a month or whatever. If we
Okay.
go out regularly, do you know what I mean? And just make sure I'm absolutely noting it that this is the case, right? First of all, to be absolutely sure, because it's quite a big accusation, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, but then if it is the case, she needs to talk to her friend. She can't. She needs to put the offending her to the side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You need to park that because it's going to be a difficult conversation anyway. And I would think about, she probably needs to do some thinking about the conversations you had in the past, because as a person outside of a culture, you might be curious about us and have a lot of knowledge about us because someone's let you in, do you know what I mean? And been open and share, but you don't necessarily know what they think about you for sure.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, and we are conditioned to assimilate the culture that we live in. Do you know what I mean? So by default, we'll adjust. Well, I would say the majority of us will adjust to the people around us. Do you know what I mean? So like in the workplace, do you know what I mean? When we're a minority, all that kind of thing, we'll adjust. So I think she needs to think about the conversations he had and see if it's a two-way conversation or if it's a one-way conversation, because she might be in for a shock and she might need to prepare herself, but she should also keep an open mind, because there might be, from her friend's opinion, valid reasons why she does this.
Absolutely.
If it is the case.
I think we have lots of conversations about interracial dating, but interracial friendship, I don't even think I've heard people have those conversations, like maybe in certain fallouts, oh, my friend was racist or but actually sitting down and thinking, what are the tools to embark on an interracial friendship and how do you navigate this friendship honestly? Because it's like she's saying, like, she's just like you guys, she relates and, you know, we're really close and we've been friends for a long time, but it is, as you said, what are the layers of conversations that you really have when politics, how deep do you lot go on politics? Because that's a very big expose of how people really think. And as a black person living in the West, will be hard pressed to find someone, even those who present as kumbaya and everything white's all right. Deep down, they would have had at least even one experience of extreme racist negativity. And if they're not dealing with it, I don't know, you might not get that call. And she might have some resentment to white people, but it doesn't mean to say she doesn't like you as a person, as a human. So as Sade said, you've got to prepare for that, but you have to be honest and you have to have the conversation and really unpack what your interracial friendship really looks like and means.
What do you think?
So my questions, as you were reading it, she's not with her friend all the time. So is it that when they're together, she is hyper aware of something because now she is hyper aware and therefore she's looking for something? But what happened? What does her friend do when she's just rolling solo? Even just the way that she wrote the email and apologizing for what she was saying to me says she now has a hyper awareness around their dynamic. So is she looking for things? And if she is, why is she looking for those things? I always flip things the other way. And I would say if the dynamic was the other way and I noticed it about a white friend that was only doing it for, holding doors open for white people or getting up for white elderly people, I would have the conversation and say, bro, this is something that I've noticed. Do you see it? And just see if they even see it or acknowledge it. And if they turn around and say, yeah, actively, this is why I do it, I think in a friendship, you have to have an empathy and listen to everyone's experience, regardless of which way it is. You should be listening if it's a friendship you value. And I would go from there.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, though. Your first point about the like her not necessarily like being hyper aware, and also as well, I'd add to that, like maybe she's teaching you by example as well, because you just don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could.
Like,
It could
they-
be.
For real.
It could be that you never get up,
Right.
And so I'm now making a point of getting
All
up because
the time.
you're not doing
Yeah,
it.
so I'm doing it in front of you.
Yeah, so
lead
you
by
can
example.
start being aware.
Yeah.
It's a conversation, and I think it's a brave one to have, and she should do it because it's really going to show the salts of your friendship. Really,
Absolutely.
actually, like, so you have a little gripe, don't run from it. It doesn't matter what the gripe is. It's like lean into it. Actually, and you may all learn something, both sides. I don't know. I think I'm definitely more focused when I'm on a bus. I will notice an old black person get on, most definitely. And I will get up because I feel a responsibility to do that. Like, I see them as kin. So, but it's not to say I wouldn't for an old white woman, but I'm going to look and spot it. It's like, and she may be doing something similar. And if one of my friends asks me about it, I may actually laugh. I don't even think I'd be offended. It'll just be like, the woman could look like my mum, my
And that's
aunt.
it. Exactly. There's
so
a
many
hypersensitivity to somewhat.
Cultural,
Exactly.
because you do see your people first. It is what it is. You see your people
It's
first.
a convo.
And it's definitely a conversation.
Can I give interracial friendships? So one of my besties at university, I went to Lancaster University. Over the years, there have been moments where I've had to just explain things to her. One of them was I decided to take her to Jamaica.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, really, really
nice.
excited. I didn't pay for it, but no. I invited her to come to Jamaica. We decided to go to Negril, and so we'd come down from Lancaster to London. She smoked weed. I've never smoked. She smoked weed. She decided she wanted to take said weed because she didn't finish it. On the plane.
No.
So we get to Heathrow Airport, and all with only 2 people being searched, like they're opening bags, going through stuff. And once they were done, she's like, mate, I've got weed on me. I was like, sorry, what now?
What?
I was like, lady, that just can't run. She wasn't well traveled at this point. I was like, that can't run. And she was like, why? I was like, because it's your weed and I'm going to go to jail.
100.
And she's like, I don't understand. Why would you go to jail? So I was basically like, I had to give her a really fast rundown of why I'd go to jail and why she wouldn't. And she needed to go and figure it out. She then went and hid it in the ceiling of the airport toilet. We talk about this to this day because I'm like, this is the sort of stuff that only you can get me wrong. And so for the rest of the holiday, I had to keep pointing things out that were just not allowed to do because I would go to jail.
Right.
And it was just an ongoing pattern. But we could have the conversation and we're still friends now. But
Oh, wow.
This is
that's
perfect. And that's that one. And before we end the show, does anyone have anything they want to spotlight?
What did I have to spotlight? It's gone out of my head again.
I can go.
Go ahead.
So I want to spotlight the TLC documentary that's on Netflix. Although it came out last year, but it's on Netflix now. And I watched it and I thought it was amazing. I had a bit of a cry.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot how much I actually love TLC and how much they actually impacted me. I didn't realize it was actually that deep, but I think my activism may have started. My pretend activism, not all the time. But yeah, it may have started around that time, you know, like seriously, like especially Lisa, she had a big impact on me, like massive. And I think like when she passed, I literally just couldn't deal with it, so I just didn't. Do you know what I mean? But like it was they're just reliving memories and stuff and everything like that, so yeah, it's really nice. So watch it if you can.
I really loved it. I watched it.
I have a quick one. Bashi's documentary is out now. It's called Reasoning, and it's a sit down talk with Kano's in it, Posty, Renee Addo Lodge. It's very good, and AK was in the audience, but it's a really it's a good one, so watch it.
Yeah, it's a breakdown of his new album that he released, and it's just really good. I want to just make a mention. Mary J. Blige, Kool and the Gang, A Tribe Called Quest, Big Mama Thornton, Dionne Warwick have all been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, yay.
Amazing.
Big ups.
Natalie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We are going to get in your business, so you might not be saying thank you. Guys, don't forget, if you're a YouTube member, you will get to see more of Ms. Natalie. But guys, don't forget, tomorrow's a very important day.
Today
is a very important day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vote.
Take your ID.
Take
You
your
need
ID.
your
Don't
ID.
forget your ID.
And before you vote, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be back soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.